Hello everybody, welcome back to Star Racing Collects, where today we have another video.
Today we have another Christmas present from another awesome channel.
And this is actually part 1, part 3.
This is actually part 1, part 3.
Part 1, part 3. Part
Oh,
1.
Part 1 of the, yes, Xmas. Okay, yes, it's part 1 of the Xmas present from the channel, because he did send another one, which will be next. And part 3 of the awesome purchase I made from TCDB member, Bengals 818821. But first, we have to do our usual tone deaf singing. So we have me singing Mail Day,
Mail Day,
Mail Day,
Mail Day,
Today is a Mail Day.
Mail Day,
It's from RJ.
Mail Day,
I just did a rhyme.
Mail Day,
Yes, it's about time.
Mail Day,
This is part 1.
Mail Day,
There'll be another one, then we're done.
Mail Day,
We're filming all day.
Mail Day.
The boys say yay yay.
No, we don't. Mail Day, Mail Day.
I did a pretty good rhyme in there. That was a pretty good one. So, today we have an awesome PIF Christmas card from RJ Collects Sets. Don't know how. I really don't understand this, people. 391 subscribers. I am baffled that it's not a lot more, because he is just such an awesome guy. He collects baseball. He's a set collector, but he also collects Mike Schmidt. He's a Mike Schmidt super collector. Did I say it right that time?
Schmidt.
He's also a Phillies fan. He's got some really, really awesome Mike Schmidt stuff. Every video he does a Mike Schmidt item and then a random baseball item. And the random baseball items could be anything and everything, people. He's done everything from books, programs, dirt, all kinds of awesome cards. So please go check him out. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday he does a trivia question. All you have to do is answer. You don't even have to answer it right. Then on Sunday, everybody that put in an answer goes on a wheel, and the first person to get 3 times wins whatever prize it is. And he has some really, really awesome prizes, and it's so much fun. He has so much knowledge of baseball. It's a lot of fun just listening to all the stories. So, let's go and see what he sent for me for Christmas. So, let me make sure I'm not zoomed out. I can zoom out a little bit. There you go.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
This will be done sideways, so good luck anybody who's watching. So, it says, wishing you the happiest holidays and a wonderful new year.
Awesome. And he sent a couple of sleeves of cards.
Here are the 2 empty sleeves.
He sent us 2 empty sleeves. And JR didn't have them all organized, so he's now organizing them.
So we have a Connor Hallebuck.
We have JR's favorite player from his favorite team.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Adam Scherzer.
You know who that is.
Sure, it's Braun Strowman.
Yep. Get these hands.
We have a Brock Brusser.
Vassar.
A Quinn Hodges. A Jonathan Huberto. And a Ric Flair.
That's the blue parallel.
Woo! Woo!
That is awesome. Thank you so much, RJ. That is awesome card. I know the boys and I are gonna like those, of course, because it's wrestling and hockey. 2 of Canada's favorite sports. Well, one of them is anyway. And then there's hockey. Just kidding. So now we'll get AJ back to do more of the awesome purchase I made from Bengals 818821 from TCDB. We've had so many awesome cards. If we hasn't finished all these sets, then they're going to be darn close. I know that for sure.
Jesus.
What?
A cat.
I know, there's a cat on the back of my chair and he's noisy.
No, he's almost like falling off and stuff.
Oh. He's purring up a storm anyway. Okay, so there's your first pile, AJ.
Okay. Okay, bud.
Okay, bye.
Okay, buddy.
Okie dokie there, boy. Okay, so we're doing more of the 82 Dunross. What this one's going to start with. And we have... Is it in focus?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay, well then let's fix that right now. That better?
Nope.
There? There?
Yep.
Okay.
Milt May, Doug Bird, Bruce Botch,
Okay.
Neil Allen, Dave Tubick, Rich Gedman, Rick Monday, Miguel Dion, Kurt Hurdle, Jeff Newman. We got a Grant Jackson, Tony Scott, Steve Murrah, Johnny LeMaster, Larry McWilliams, Johnny Ray, Sal Butter, Mike Griffin, Calvin Moore, Ed Romero, Jack O'Connor, Lynn Jones, Gaylord Perry, Phil Garner, Jeff Reardon. Oh, there's something in my eye.
Cover your finger.
Oh, eyelash.
Maybe it's just the awesomeness off the cards.
Ron Goodery. Possibly, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. It's not the shape of an eyelash and an eyelash.
Oh.
John Henry Johnson.
John Henry Johnson. Johnson.
Definitely a serial killer.
Definitely a serial killer.
Chris Bando. Bobby Brown.
Johnson sleeved.
Larry Bradford. We got Shooty Babbitt.
Shooty. Nice.
Shooty Babbitt. Tricks are for kids.
That was actually funny. I will admit.
Julio
that was
Valdez.
funny. AJ made a funny, people.
I made a funny, guys. Mike Marshall. Rennie Stennett. Steve Crawford. Paul Cerna. Dave LaRoche. Lee May. Gary Ward. John Denny. Roy Smiley. Luis Pujols. Benny Alaya. Vance Law. Rick Leach. Juan Benitez. Craig Swan. Dave Chalk. Billy Gardner. Sal Bando. Bert. No, that's Oscar from The Office.
It does kind of look like him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bert Campaneris.
Carpanaris. Randy Lurch. Brian Clark. Dad, I know more about cars than you do. It's a
You
Carpanaris.
definitely do.
Brian Clark. Dave Ford. Mike Sosha. Renee Latchman. Mike Collier. Jerry Koosman. Dave Goltz. Ellis Valentine. Lonnie Smith. Yaquan Anjar. Gary Hancock. Gary Turner. Larry Milburn. Keith Drumright. Dave Rosello. Dennis Lamp. Sid Mong. Luis Aguayo. Jimmy Easley. Dave Roberts. Rance Molnix. Kevin Hickey. Dave Geisel. Ken Griffey. Orlando Sanchez. Bob Sykes. Ed Lynch. Julio Gonzalez. Jesse Orozco. Jerry Binsky. Tommy Davis. Ron Gardenhire. Philippe Allo. Bill Madlock. Checklist.
Let's go.
Checklists.
Let's go.
That was like for the exact same checklist.
Oh, nice.
Wrong. You are wrong. Dusty Baker. Gary Forster.
Is it still in focus?
No, kinda.
There?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I didn't think it was focused. I'm gonna zoom in.
Dave Glotz. Pedro Guerrero. Bert Hooten. Ken Landreau. Davey Lopes. Mike Marshall. Rick Monday. Tom Niedenfuer, to Power, Jerry Rouse, Ron Ronick, Bill Russell, Mike Sosha, Davis Stewart.
Okay, there's pile number 1.
Out of 7.
Out of 7.
You'll have to zoom out.
Yep.
Bob Welch, Steve Yeager,
Yeager.
Meister,
Right.
Bobby Brown, Bucky Dent, Barry Foote, George Frazier, Rudy May, Jerry Mumphrey, Bobby Mercer, Gene Nelson, Greg Nettles, Lou Pinellia, Rick Roussel, Dave Rering, Mr. Spaghetti,
Aurelio
Excuse me.
Rodriguez.
I said excuse me, I didn't mean to do it on purpose. Aurelio Rodriguez, Bob Watson, Bruce Bernier, Larry Bittner, Goof Combe, Dan Driesen, Ken Griffey.
Wow. What happened there?
I hit it by accident.
Somebody's been sitting there the whole time.
Yep.
Is it straight?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. Paul Householder, Tom Home, Ray Knight, Mike Lacoste, Charlie Lee Brandt, Sam Mahias, Paul Moscow, Joe Nolan, Ron Oyster, Frank Pastor, Mario Soto, Tony Armas, Shooty Babbitt, Rick Bossetti, Keith Drumwright. We got a Jeff Jones, and we got a Matt Cano, and a Brian Kingman, Steve McCaddy, Dwayne Murphy, Jeff Newman, Mike Norris, Bob Ochinko, Mitchell Page. Got a Bob Piccolo, Jim Spencer, Tom Underwood, Steve Braun, Bob Forsch, George Hendrick, Tom Herr, Dane Org, Tito Landrum, Sixto Lascano, Mike Tittle, Mark Tittle, Silvio Martinez. Got a Ken Oberkefell, Orlando Sanchez, Bob Shirley, Larry Lawrenson, Bob Sykes, Gary Templeton, Gene Tennants, Jerry Augustine, Sal Bando, Mark Brohard, Mike Caldwell, Reggie Cleveland, Cecil Cooper, Jamie Easterly, Marshall Edwards, Rolly Fingers, Jim Gantner, Moose Haas, Larry Hessel, Ricky Keaton, Randy Lurch, Don Money, Charlie Moore, Ben Ogilvie, Gorman Thomas, Pete Vukovic, Benny Alea, Mark Belanger, Terry Crowley, Rich Dower, Doug DeCinzes, Scott McGregor, Gary Ronick, Len Cicada, Ken Singleton, Sammy Stewart, Tim Stoddard, Steve Jones, Steve Stone, Stan Bison, Ray Burris, Warren Cromartie, and a Woody Fryman.
Okay, next pile.
Yep.
As we're now into the 82 Fleer.
Yep.
Definitely going to have these sets in binders for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, go ahead.
Tony Benazard, Ross Baumgartner, Bill Gillickson, Wallace Johnson, Jerry Manuel, Brad Mills, John Milner, Roland Office, David Palmer, Harry Parrish, Bobby Ramos, Steve Rogers,
Captain America,
Scott Sanderson, Rodney Scott, Elias Sosa, Chris Spire, Jerry White, Alan Ashby, Jose Cruz, Phil Garner, Bob Knepper, Frank LaCourte, Craig Reynolds, J.R. Richard, Dave Roberts, Vern Rule, Joe Simbito, Tony Scott, Dave Smith, Don Sutton, Dickie Thon, Danny Walling, Gary Woods, Luis Ageo, Raymond Alves, Dick Davis, Greg Gross, Sparky Lyle, Gary Maddox, Gary Matthews, Bake McBride, Dickie Knowles, Mike Prawley, Ron Reed, Dick Ruthven, Lonnie Smith, Manny Trillo, Del Unser, George Campuzella, Marty Castillo, Richie Abner, Lynn Jones, Steve Kemp, Rick Leach, Aurelio Lopez, Kevin Saucer, Lance Parrish, Rick Peters, Dan Petrie, David Rosema, Stan Poppy, Dan Shattetter, Champ Summers, Gary Allenson, Steve Crawford, Dwight Evans, Glenn Hoffman, got a Mr. Carney Lansford, Bruce Hurst, Carney Lansford, Eric Miller, Reed Nichols, Bob Ojeda, Chuck Rainey, Jerry Remy, Joe Rudy, Bob Stanley, Dave Stapleton, Frank Tanana, Frank Torres, John Tudor, Steve Cormer, John Ellis, John Grubb, Rick Honeycutt, Charlie Hull, John Matlack, Doc Medich, Mario Mendoza, Al Oliver, Mickey Rivers, Leon Roberts, Billy Sample, Bill Stein, Jim Sundberg, Mark Weiniger, Bob Wills, Bill Allman.
Okay, 4 piles left.
Yep. Brett Burns, Richard Dotson, Jim Eisen, Ed Farmer, Kevin Hickey, Lamar Hoyt, Jerry Koosman, Rusty Kuntz, Dennis. What?
Thank you.
Why?
Because you said it right.
Well, I didn't want to say the other thing.
Well, there you go.
Around the floor, Chet Lemon, Greg Uzinski, Bob Molinaro, Jim Morrison, Wayne Nordhagen, Greg Pryor, Mike Squires, Steve Trout, Alan Bannister, Lon Barker, John Charbonneau, John Denny, Bo Diaz, Miguel Delone, Wayne Garland, Mike Hartroof, Toby Hara, Ron Hassey, Dwayne Cooper, Rick Manning, Sid Mong, Jorge Orta, Dave Rossello, Mike Stanton, Andre Thornton, Tom Berezer, Rick Waits, Doyle Alexander, Fred Benning, Brenning, Enos Cabell, Jack Clark, Tom Griffin, Larry Herndon. Ooh. Dropped a Al Holland and a Gary Lavelle, Johnny LeMaster, Jerry Martin, Milt May, Greg Minton, Rennie Stennett, Ed Whitson, Jim Holford, Willie Aikens, Ken Brett, Dave Chalk. Is that on the actual card? Or is that like snow or something?
I'm not sure.
Doesn't feel like the actual card. So, I don't know.
I'll have to look when I look up the card.
Okay. Rich Gale, Cesar Guillermo, Larry Gura, Mike Jones. Got a Dennis Leonard, Lee May. Jeez.
Slippery?
Yeah, kinda. You got a Hal McRae. You're flying everywhere. Hal McRae, Daryl Motley, Rance Mulnix, Amos Otis, Ken Phelps, Jamie Quirk, Dan Quisenberry, Paul Splitoff, UL Washington, Frank White, Willie Wilson, Ryan Asseltine Stein, Bruce Benedict, Tom Boggs, Larry Bradford, Rick Camp, Chris Chambliss, Gene Garber, Preston Hanna, Bob Horner, Glenn Hibbard, Rufino Linares, Rick Mahler, Ed Miller, John Montefusco, Biff Poca Orba, Rafael Ramirez, Clydell Washington, Don Baylor, Bob Clark, Brian Downing, Dave Frost, Bobby Gritch, Andy Hassler, Butch Hobson, Bruce Kyson, Steve Renko, Jeff Zane, Kurt Bevqua, Jim Bibby, John Candelaria, Mike Easler, Tim Foley, Lee Lacey, Vance Law.
Okay, you got 3 piles left. You're doing awesome.
Bo Madlock, Willie Montañez, Omar Mariano, Tony Pena, Rick Roden, Enrique Romo. Rod Scurry, Eddie Solomon, Kent Tukov, Jason Thompson, Jim Anderson, Floyd Bannister, Bruce Boccier, Jeff Burrows, Brian Clark, Ken Clay, Julio Cruz, Dick Drago. Oh, that's bad.
JR.
Gary Gray.
Did you see it?
Sure. Holy jeez.
Canada's beating Latvia 10-0. For all those that know what day it is, you know what we're watching, or what I'm talking about.
Dan Meyer, Jerry Naron, Tim Plackeret, Casey Parsons, Shane Raleigh, Joe Simpson, Neil Allen, Bob Baylor, Mike Cubbage, Doug Flynn, Tom Hossman, Ron Hodges, Mike Jorgensen, Ed Lynch, Mike Marshall, John Stearns, Greg Swan, Frank Taverns, Alex Trevino, Alice Valentine, Mookie Wilson, Joel Youngblood. You got a Pat Zachary, Glenn Adams, John Verhoeven, Sal Butera, Don Cooper, Doug Corbett, Dave Engel, Roger Erickson, Danny Goodwin, Pete McCannon, Pete Redfern, Roy Smalley, Chuck Baker, Gary Ward, Rob Wilfong, Al Williams, Butch Weiniger, Barry Evans, Rupert Jones, Roderick Perkins, Gene Richards, Luis Salazar, Johnny Urea, Chris Walsh, Rick Weiss, Bobby Bonds, Bill Cottle, Hector Cruz, Ivan De Jesus, Steve Dillard, Roddy Estwick, Steve Henderson, Mike Lum, Randy Martz, Jerry Morales, Ken Wright, Dick Tidrow, Ty Waller, Ernie Witt, All-Star Game, All-Star Infielders, Wade and Dent, Big Red Machine, Dreesen, Concepcion, and Foster. Perfect Game, Parker and Diaz. Checklist.
Let's go.
Checklist.
Let's go.
Checklist.
Let's go.
Checklist.
Let's go.
Rangers.
Let's go.
Checklist Indians. Checklist Royals. Checklist Mariners. Checklist Twins. Checklist Cubs. And checklist special cards.
And let's go.
Got Yaquan Andujar, Tom Herr, Jerry Augustine, Dwight Bernard, and a Mark Brohard, and a Mike Caldwell, and a Cecil Cooper.
Awesome.
Dad.
Yep. 2 piles left, and we'll
Call it a day.
call our video. Yep. You're doing awesome. Lots of awesome cards.
Yeah. You gotta zoom.
Yep. Come back out
Zoom,
again.
zoom.
Uh-huh.
Jamie Easterly, Marshall Edwards, Jim Gantner, Roy Howell, Bob McClure, Doc Medich, Don Money, Charlie Moore, Ben Ogilvy, Ed Romero, Jim Slayton, Gorman Thomas, Pete Vukovic, Ned Yost, Storm Davis, Rich Dower, Rick Dempsey, Jim Dwyer, Glenn Gulliver, Dennis Martinez, Scott McGregor, Joe Nolan, Gary Roenick, Len Saccato, Sammy Stewart, Tim Stoddard, Don Ace, Juan Beniquez, Bob Boone, Ken Forsch, Andy Hassler, Tommy John, Bruce Kyson, Fred Lynch, Luis Sanchez, Mike Witt, Mike Armstrong, Vita Blue, Bud Black, Onyx Concepcion, Dave Frost, Caesar Guillermo, Larry Gura, Steve Hammond, Don Hood, Jerry Martin, Lee May, Amos Otis, Greg Pryor, Dan Quisenberry, Don Slott, Paul Spitoff, Ewell Washington, John Wathan, Willie Wilson, Steve Bedrosen, Bruce Benedict, Tommy Boggs, Brett Butler, Rick Camp, Chris Chambliss, Ken Daly, Gene Garber, Terry Harper, Bob Horner, Glenn Hubbard, Rufiano Linares, Rick Muller, Biff Picordba, Rafael Ramirez, Jerry Royster, Kenneth Smith. We got a Bob Watson, Larry Winton, Martin E. Bystrom, Larry Christensen, Ivan De Jesus, John Denny, Bob Dernier, Bo Diaz, Ed Farmer, Greg Gross, Mike Krukow, Gary Maddox, Gary Matthews, Doug McGraw, Bob Malarno, Sid Mung, Bill Robinson, Dick Ruthven, Manny Trillo, Ozzie Virgil, Greg Vukovic, Gary Allenson, Louis Sapont, Tom Bergmeyer, Mark Clear, Dwight Evans, Rich Gedman, Glenn Hoffman, Bruce Hurst, Tiny Lansford, Rick Miller, Reed Nichols, Bob Ojeda, Kurt Bevacqua, Chuck Rainey, Jerry Remy, Bob Stanley, and Dave Stapleton.
Awesome. And our last pile for this video. They're all made for Johnny. It's something to watch at night at work.
Got a Mike Torres, Julio Valdez, Dusty Baker, Joe Beckwith, Greg Brock, Ron Say, Terry Forster, Pedro Guerrero, Bert Hooton, Ken Landro, Mike Marshall, Candy Maldonado, Rick Monday, Tom Niedenfuhr, Jorge Orta, Vincent Romo, Bill Russell, Steve Sachs, Mike Sosha, Dave Stewart, Darrell Thomas, Bob Welch, Ricky Wright, Steve Yeager, Bill Allman, Salome Barojas, Tony Bernard, Brett Burns, Richard Dotson, Ernesto Escargia, Jerry Harston, Kevin Hickey, Lamar Hoyt, Steve Kemp, Jim Kern, Jerry Kouseman, Dennis Lamp, Rudy Law, Vance Law, Ron LaFleur, Greg Luzinski, Tom Peiselrack, Aurelio Rodriguez, Mike Squires, Steve Trout, Jim Barr, Dave Bergman, Fred Brenning, Bob Brenly, Chili Davis, Darrell Evans, Alan Folks, Rich Gale, Ali Hammaker, we got Al Holland, Dwayne Kuiper, Bill Lasky, Gary Lavelle, Johnny Lamaster, Renee Martin, Milt May, Greg Minton, Joe Morgan, Tom O'Malley, Reggie Smith, Guy Solars, Champ Summers, Max Venable, Jim Walford, Russ Baumgartner, Dale Barra, John Candelaria, Dick Davis, Mike Eagler, Richie Hebner, Lee Lacey, Bill Madlock, Larry McWilliams, John Milner, Omar Mariano, Jim Morrison, Steve Nicosia, Tony Pena, Johnny Gray, Rick Roden, Don Robinson, Enrique Romo, Manny Sarmiento, Rod Scurry, Jim Smith, Jason Thompson, Ken Tukulf, Don Brookins, Larry Herndon, Mike Ivey, Lynn Jones, Rick Leach, Chet Lemon, Lance Parrish, Larry Pashnick, Dan Petrie, Dave Rucker, Elias Sosa, Dave Tubick, Jerry Turner, Jerry Ujder, Pat Underwood, Milt Wilcox, Glenn Wilson, and John Wilkenfoss.
Awesome. Great job. And with that, we want to thank everybody for watching. Please give us a like. If there's something you don't like, give us a dislike. Tell us what we're doing wrong, and we'll try to make it better. If you want to subscribe, click the button below and ring the bell. If you don't, that's okay too, as long as you keep coming back for the fun. Want to thank Bengals 818821 for the awesome sale box, and a huge shout out and thank you to RJ Collect Sets. Like I said, people, you're missing out big time. Just for all the stories, all the awesome cards and everything else. It's so much fun. Go on over to his channel, sub up RJ Collect Sets. You won't be sorry. Yeah. And when you sub up to RJ, tell him that, boom, the card of the video, Connor Hellebuck.
Numbered.
Oh, is it numbered?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a jerk.
53.
You're a jerk.
You instantly know that.
Yeah, I know. As soon as he starts, I know. That is an awesome looking card, and we needed it, and that's JR's favorite player, so it makes it even more special.
Oh,
Thank you so much, RJ. And
Have a fucking good day, everybody.
thanks, everyone.
Bye.